myself, and it's fine to come back to it, because that's what happened to me today. I was at work and I was free, kind of, and I could just study, but I couldn't study because, will I say, my brain was just everywhere. So many things were just passing through my brain at a time. So I left it and distracted myself. I helped somebody do a flyer and other things that were just not related to C programming or JavaScript or anything coding. I just did something else. But later today, after I got back, I just picked my laptop and I was able to do one or two things. And I just told myself there's no need to be actually too hard on yourself. You're actually doing the very best that you can do. So if you want to take a break, it's fine. If you want to sleep, it's fine. But don't give up. Still try and try. And you'll come back stronger. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. I think that's the first time she's speaking. And when a lady is speaking to guys, it didn't Abby. Okay, so I welcome all of you. Yesterday, one guy spotted something out for us, and it was really amazing. So he said that we should be our brother's keeper, and we should try our best to look out other people who are doing this meeting with us. And today I took it upon myself to reach out to the few I could reach out to. I didn't know we are that much, so but we are always having highest 20 people, 15, 20. The max we've had is 20 in this meeting, and then we are up to 60 to 60 something in the group. So what is happening to the rest? What is happening? So I started from the first name, started calling, and I came to discover that some of them have given up. Some of them, because nobody was there for them, they just gave up. Some of them had challenges that they tried to solve on their own. Maybe, but from they tried reaching out to people and then nobody was responding, and they gave up. In fact, the people that I called, out of 100%, 70 has given up. 70 has completely given up. Like, given up that they don't even move to the next cohort. They have totally and they have genuine excuses. And I believe that those excuses were because there was nobody to help. So I want to implore everybody that is in this meeting, please, after this meeting, on your free time, try and reach out to one or two people. In the next meeting, I'll be asking you to tell me what your partner or what the person you reach out to actually said. If you reach out to three people, fine. If you can reach out to five, you don't need to use much of your time. You can use your WhatsApp, call on WhatsApp, reach out to them. I was surprised when I reached out to Debbie. I'm sure majority of you know Debbie in the group. And Debbie was facing plenty challenges, and I wish she informed somebody what she was going through, and then somebody would have helped her out. Maybe by this time she wouldn't have actually be where she is. So, guys, I'll be waiting to hear feedback from all of you. I have more than 15 people in this call. So if 15 people can call 5 person each from your group and to know how they are faring, how they are coping with the program, it's hard for everybody everywhere. Ikenna, please mute your mic, please.
Sorry, I wanted to say something. Me, I don't have many people's contact. It's only you and Ayuba.
Uh,
Also, that's the challenge. I don't really have
yes,
people's contact like
don't
that.
worry. We'll get you
So
some.
that's
We'll
it.
get you some contacts to call. That's not a challenge.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay. So try and reach out to one or two people, 5, 10 in the number you can. Just sometimes a word of comfort is enough. Some people are just waiting for somebody to just tell them you can do it. That comfort you can give to somebody can actually be somebody's strength. All right. Thank you so much. We're about to start, so I'm going to drop the link on the income message. So today is going to be a very fast one because my laptop. It's hard to be a software engineer in Nigeria because you are going to encounter plenty problem, light to um, environment, conducive environment, to different factors, to cashless policy, and to no money in Nigeria, and plenty wild. So, all right, please check your income message. You're going to see a link. Click on the link. Let's get our hands dirty with coding. So we said we're going to take our time, maybe in the next 1 hour, discuss C from scratch, and the remaining minutes that will be maybe 30 minutes time. We're going to talk about simple shell, and we're going to end the class. I just pray that the laptop battery will carry. Fine. How many people are in this platform now? Is my screen visible for everyone? Hello. Hello. Am I still here?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see your screen. Visible.
Okay, so today we'll be talking on intro to C. So if you know that maybe from the beginning you were confused, it's better to pay attention from now. So let's get the whole grab ALX was talking about. I'm sure that by this time you are not a stranger to C anymore. You've out of the 100 dose ALX is giving, I'm sure you've gotten, some people have gotten 40%, some 30, some 50, some 70. So at least you're not new. If you were newbies to in programming, you're no more a newbies. So it should be easy for you to run with us in any pace we are running now. If we are running fast, you should be able to go. This intro to C should be a very simple thing for everybody now. So I'm just going to run through the syntax, the normal syntax everybody knows, and then I would want somebody to speak out. Why do we need C programming? What is C programming? How can C programming help us in our journey as a software engineer? And why do we even need to learn C programming? Alright, can somebody speak out, please? Hello, can somebody speak out? We don't have much time. Hello, am I still here?
Yes.
Yes, please. Sorry, I didn't get that. Did you ask a question?
Yes, I asked the question now. What is
Sorry,
C?
mine. I
What
had
is C
network.
programming? Why do we need to study C programming? What's the importance of studying C programming?
Okay, okay. So from my own little understanding, C programming um if I see is a popular language that uh is widely used, but it's not a high level language. And it's important for a programmer or a beginner to start with C because it will help you understand how the system works, how whatever program you are writing, how it works, because you have to do everything manually, unlike high level programming language like Python and all of that. With C, you have to understand how to allocate memories, how memories are being used in your computer when you are running a program. And understanding C language will help you to understand easily, work with other high level languages.
Okay, thank you so much. So that you've used one stone to kill two birds. So you spoke about you've defined it, and then you spoke about why we need to study C. So that's amazing. So C, it's a general purpose language, and if you understand C, it will be very easy for you to understand other programming language like Python, like PHP, another simple like JavaScript and all those things. So that's why ALX in their wisdom had to bring C from the beginning. Although it seems to be tough, but I'm sure we've gotten through it already. So we're going to talk about the syntax of C. Alright, we all know that the first thing in C is your header file. So, and this is your header file. Now, we know that the very first thing to put into your C programming is the header file. What is actually header files? Why do we need header files? Can somebody help us out?
Header, let me say header files are built-in libraries
Okay,
in C where you can call functions. Since I've already used the word built-in, where all the functions are already stored into it. Instead of retyping them, you just go there and call so and so. I need this and this. So the program just goes to the storage or to the library and brings out what you need to your output.
that's excellent. So, in a layman understanding, um, in the common one we know, header files are like, let's say, a warehouse. Like you have Samsung warehouse, you have LG warehouse. That if I want to get anything about LG products, maybe TV, maybe AC. So I will just call Samsung and then get a particular product I want. So immediately I include Samsung as a brand. That means I am able to access everything that is inside Samsung Office. So if I need a product from let's say Nokia, maybe phone, I'll have to call Nokia brand. I'll have to call Nokia warehouse in order to access the product of Nokia. So if let's assume I want to include, that's why they use include. If I don't need it, I'll remove it. So if I want to include maybe Samsung as the warehouse of Samsung, so that I can be able to access the product of Samsung, I will just say include so I will put the warehouse name, the brand name, that is STDIO. STDIO actually means standard. So STD means standard. So, and this IO means input output. That means everything you type in as input, this standard library should be able to help you print it out, because it has the input and output operation. Sorry for the so we put .h because it is an header file. So if I want to go beyond something that will have to just be input and output, like printing out, and you know the normal input is like your printf, like your scanf, those are input and output functions. So if I need to include something like a string, I will have to, let's assume a string is maybe Nokia. I will have to call in another brand. Why is this thing not going? So I have to include my string .h, and we have many more of different header files according to what you want, or according to the function you want to call. We have the major ones we have is standard input output, and then we also have a standard library. So those are the two major header files that we have. So apart from those two, we have about 19 different header files. Maybe you could go check that out on your internet and then know the function of each of these header files. So but because we are not going to go through them one by one, if not it will take us a whole day. So those are the standard built-in header files that has already been programmed by programmers. That's why ALX in their wisdom gave you simple shell, because they want you to build something like a header file, a standard header file. Like simple shell is like building your own terminal, where can permit you to execute functions. Like you should code your own inbuilt functions, like your own printf. You can decide Printf is the general language everybody knows, but you can decide to build your own terminal that if you say maybe let me use somebody's name. If you say Fasasi, he puts, if I want to print out something to the screen as an output, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use Ibrahim. So anytime I type Ibrahim and put this and put a curly bracket and put this bracket and a semicolon, whatsoever I type inside here should print out on the screen. That means Ibrahim becomes an inbuilt function. So if Ibrahim is building his own shell, his own terminal like Ubuntu, he should code out this Ibrahim to have the required ingredient to be able to print anything typed inside here to the outside, to the output. So that's what you are doing in your simple shell project. So you have to code built-in functions. Okay, it's just like I'm talking about the warehouse. So I want to build a warehouse and I want the name to be Innocent. That means it's a brand. I will have to have products that carries innocence, like innocent vehicles. That means I should have innocent cars. I should have innocent ACs. I should have innocent freezers. Those are products that you can obtain from the innocent brand. So the shell is your own brand, and then you have to have inbuilt functions that can carry out operations like printing things to the screen. I should be able to build a header file and maybe name it anything. I should just, this one is stdio.h. I should be able to name it maybe Angel, and anytime you put angel.h, it means a standard library. Alright, so we are done with data files. If you have any question, please you can ask. Okay, so these are, let me put in again, these are the standard header files. There are some personal header files you can build, and that is preprocessor. How you can create your own personal header files, and that header files you can call it into your main function and it will print anything out for you. Depends on what you declare on your header file. That's why when ALX is giving you a project, they actually tell you go and create your main.h, which is your header file, and then put the functions you want to use inside. So those kind of header files are local header files. You cannot you can only use it for your own practice, but it is not global. These ones are global header files. They are recognized. Then the ones you can do on your own, I taught you when you want to create an header files, you do something like if ndef. I think we did, all of us did this together, and then you put the header file name, like maybe you can just write and then you come here, you put nif here, and then you can come to the middle and you define your header file. You say hash define, and you put the name. You can put the here. Then you can immediately you define, you put, this is like the opening, braces. This is the ending. So this is where you carry out your operation. Immediately you define it, you can be able to tell this function that okay, anytime I call this function, you should perform an operation like sum, like maybe multiply. I can say sum x plus y. So anytime I call this function in my main.h, you should be able to carry out this operation. So immediately I do this, I should be able to come to my header file and now include I will include as a header file .h. So this inno.h is a local header file. Like, it's only recognized by my system here because this is what I created, and I define the function. I define what this header file can do. So it cannot perform more than this, except I will just impute whatever I want. If you don't impute it, it can never perform more than that. So, but these ones have global possibilities. They have multi tags because it has been already created by programmers and they've already decided what they can do. Alright, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Who doesn't understand can speak out. Angela, are you saying something?
Yeah. I think my confusion is always when it comes to header files is knowing where, like, if I create a header file like a prototype,
Yes.
knowing how to or where to define it is always a problem for me.
Okay, so I've explained that here. When you immediately, if you want to create a header file, call maybe Chica. So first I will call this chica.h. That means immediately I put .h, the system automatically recognizes this as a header file. So this is the file name. So this here will be the contents of that file. And for you to create an header file, you have to use this function if ndef. And I brought out an acronym for this that time. That's personal, that's not for general use. That's Innocent define the name. Innocent should define, that's I. Innocent should define the name of the header file. So you can choose to use any name on this. That means you are calling forth, as if you are calling forth this, the name of this header file you want. And then when you are done calling for the name, you have to close it with this end if. Alright, so when you open here, you close it here. Now in the middle is where you perform all your operations. Just look at it as if you are saying you want to do printf. So immediately you write printf, you're already telling the system that you're supposed to print something on the screen, and then you open your brackets and you put your semicolon. So all these ones does not appear on the screen. It is only whatever you are doing in the middle here that appears on the screen. Okay, look at it that way, as this header file. All these things you're writing here, all this function doesn't appear on the screen. It is only this one that you define that will affect your main file. That's what you're calling for. Okay, so when you're done manipulating, putting whatever you want to put here, maybe you want this header file to do addition for you. When you are done defining, you said your problem was in defining, right?
Yes.
So immediately you open here, there's if ndef, you put the name of the file, you close it. This hash define is to tell the header file its purpose. So if I just want to do sum of numbers, I can just write sum x plus y, and that's all. So you just save this and you are done with your header file. If I want it to perform multiplication of numbers, I'll just come and put multiply or any name of your choice, but it must carry this operation. It must have multiplication sign. That's what the system understands. Okay, is that clear now?
Yes, thank you.
Alright, so you save this in chica.h and you come to this place, to your header file, and you include chica.h. Automatically the system recognize that chica.h, the purpose of chica.h is just for multiplication of x and y. So any place I'm seeing x and y, that means any place I'm seeing this command x times y, that means I should multiply it, because chica.h has already told me that anytime I see this, I should multiply it.
So I have a question.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, your own defined header, should it be in angle bracket? Because I know I have seen it or I've
Yeah,
done it
sorry.
in.
It's supposed to
Okay.
be like this. That's the correct one. So it's just because I was doing explanation, that's why I had to do that. But thank you for the correction. Okay, so is that clear enough, right?
Please, I have a question.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Can one define as many as header file?
Yes, you can define as many header files as you want, but don't you feel that would be stressful? If I need a header file that performs multiplication of numbers, I can define only this one as chica.h, or I can define it as mult.h, so that if I see anything mult, I will know that that's for multiplication. Then I can also come again and put another header file and call this one sub. That means anytime you see x plus y, subtract it. So if I call this function in your main.c, it will carry out the operation. So I'll definitely come here and pick this one and still add to the header file and say include sub.h. So I can create another file and say add.h. That's 3 different header files. So why suffer like that? Why not just define everything at once? Like in this indefine, I'll just have multiplication.h, then I will still have addition.h. So I'll have this. Sorry, not .h. I'll now have addition. Then I can still have subtraction. I can still have subtraction. I can have as many functions as possible. You understand? So
Okay.
if I'm printing it out on the screen, if I write my printf like this, and then if I write my printf like this, and I put my format specifier depending on the number that I want, maybe they are integers, and I just put this and plus this, and I say equals to, I leave the space blank, I will come to this place and call in that function. Since if I have this header file mult.h, I know that mult.h has all these functions inside. Okay, so I can decide to call anyone. If I'm using add.h, I will just say add, and it will perform the function. But meanwhile, you should know that you should first declare your x, what x is, and you put the number, maybe 70, and you declare your y and put maybe 50. You can decide to make it a float. So if I'm using this add, this header file has already identified that add means you should add x plus y. Do you now understand?
Yes, I do.
Alright. So I believe we've completely treated header files. So if there is anybody that still have question on header file, you should speak out. Hello. Hello.
Hello, sorry. Please, this function you just wrote now. Can you please go back? Let me quickly point out something.
Okay.
Like when one wants to print F, is it compulsory that you made mention of each function like add, mod, sub before you can get the answer?
Yes.
Or what if I use Ino? Will it work?
No, it will not work because in
It will not work.
because sorry, this place is supposed to be the name. So if I'm using indefined ino, this ino should be in the header file. Not, you don't call it as a function here. It should be in the header file. That means you are already telling the system that you're to recognize this header file, and the content of this header file should be used in in any operation on my output. Is that clear?
Innocent.
Sir?
So when does one know?
Hello?
Okay. So when does one know when to use a particular header file? Like when to use your standard library, when to use your standard input. Because there are sometimes I see people write programs and the program doesn't run and the error comes in, you need to go and include your standard library. But I made this mistake and the person is going back to include the standard library. So when do you know when to input different headers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I told you that they are major two, they are main, the main two headers is these two. The standard input output and standard library. So the rest is dependent on what program you want to write. Like this string now, if I want to write a program that doesn't have a character a character of string, like this, maybe I say 100. If I don't have this on my program, I don't need this. Or if I don't have string copy, if I don't call this function on my program, then I don't need this. So, but the terminal itself, like the Ubuntu, if you want to run a program that maybe you call a function, you wrote this on your program, and then there is no string.h, the terminal will tell you as the output that you need to include this string, because what the product you want to use from the warehouse, the brand is not available. Alright, so sometimes you might not actually know, you might actually forget where you will find this stuff, but the terminal itself will prompt you to come back and include this. So, but in your program, these two should always be present, the input and output, because whatever you are writing on your program, you definitely want to print it on the shell or on the output for the user to see. So you actually first need this one. So the standard library is a general purpose library where you have your printf, your scanf, your other, like the normal library in your school, how it does. It has plenty functions, and we can't even, I can, to be very sincere with you, I don't know all the functions of the standard library. But is that it has numerous possibilities, it has numerous functions, numerous built-in functions that was coded by the developers. Alright, so is that clear, sir?
Yes, well understood.
Alright. So, any other question before we move on?
You know,
Sir?
that,
Sir?
like you said, when including any file that you of your own,
Please
like this
speak out,
example
sir.
with Twitter and Windows.
Speak out, sir. I can't
Can
hear
you
you.
hear me now? Speaking out.
Hmm.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I am saying this includes Inno.h and Twitter that I use as an example. So which means once you are defining any of them, all these more add job have to change. You have to start changing them on as the other file you want to include with their name.
No, the functions you are writing depends on what you want to do with your program. The name of this header file is
Okay.
your choice. Anything you want to use, you can use your name. You can use anything of your choice.
Okay.
You understand? But the function here depends on what if I want to do multiplication of numbers, I don't need this subtract, I don't need this multiply. I can just put, sorry, if I want to do addition of numbers, I don't need these two. I can just do addition only. If I want to do multiplication of numbers, I don't need this other two too. I cannot just do multiplication only. But if I want to do, maybe I want to build a simple calculator, and I need it to have addition, subtraction, division, modulus, I will have to add all those functions to this define, so that anytime when I include it into my header files here, my main.c should be able to recognize that, okay, when I mention add, that means it is already found in this brand. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right. So I hope we are clear now. Anyway, my battery is.
Please, before we move to the next one. For this example now, if I want to print for multiplication, does that mean I will do another printf for digit to digit is equal to more?
Come
Then
again.
I'll do for sub.
Come
Is that
again.
what
Come again.
it is? Like I said from this example now,
Yes, yes.
when you do your printf for addition,
Yes, you have to do
if I
another
want to
one
do
for
for more,
multiplication,
okay. Then another one
for division, and for
sub.
you put your
Okay,
yes, definitely.
okay.
Because
Then changing the signing.
you don't expect more to add. You are putting addition and you're adding this number, and you still want to multiply this number. It's not
It's
that's
not
not it's not
possible.
magic now.
Okay. All right.
So we can move ahead, right?
Yes.
All right, that's good. So I'm going to use the next maybe 8 minutes and explain comments, and then I will opt out because the system is gone. I have 20% left. Okay, so I want to talk about commenting, and this is the most part. Some people have not really take time to learn about it. It really helps. Now, I'm sure that if I go to your GitHub now, I will see plenty code that you've written that doesn't have a comment, and it's very wrong, because by the time you enter Python or another programming language, you might definitely forget some of the C programming code, like me that is forgetting some syntax now. So I will implore you, on your free time, go back to your GitHub, or go back to your Ubuntu. Try and add comments
Jumpa
to.
but
Hello, 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 hello. Can I be the one talking for now? Try and add comments to each of the lines of code you have, so that in case you come back next time after 3-4 years, by that time you are now a Python guru. Oh shit, this battery is gone. By that time you are now a Python guru, or you are studying Flutter or Lava or Node.js, you understand? And then you need a low programming to maybe write a script to your screen, or write a script to your machine, or you want to venture into machine language in later time, or cyber security. You can always come back to this your GitHub and then understand the line of code you wrote there. So there are two types of comments. We have single line comment, single line comment, and then we have multiple line comment. Ayuba,
Yes, boss.
please get prepared. You are going to take over. I'll show you have seen my system is going on.
I'll supply you light now.
I beg, if you can supply me light, I will be happy. So the single line comment is what I've been practicing all this while. This is a single line comment where you just put your double slash in front like this, and you can see that immediately I put the double slash in front, the color automatically change, depends on the terminal you are using. So this is an example of single line comment. But if you use this, Betty, if you are using Betty will definitely shout on you if you use this. So but it is a standard practice in programming that you can use a single line comment. That's when your comment is not more than one line. Example, if I have statements like this, and I want to comment the whole of the statement, single line comment cannot do that. Okay, comment. And I want to comment out the whole of this. Single line comments cannot do that. It can only comment out this line of code. But what happens to this line, because I've written plenty things and I want all of them to be commented out. So single line comment, as the name implies, can only comment out a single line, and it is done with a double slash. I hope that is very clear, right? Hello, I want to hear somebody speak. That's clear, right?
Yes, yes, it's clear.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
yes.
All right.
yes.
So let's look at multi-line comment. So multiple line comment goes like this. So you have this, a slash and a star. Then you can write your code. I want to try this one, if it's going to be possible. So this is an example of, maybe they should give this a name, because let me not give it a name. Let me ask the people, what is the difference between this and this? Yes, can somebody help us out? What is the difference between this and this?
There's no difference.
So one person say no difference.
I'm not seeing your screen.
Are you serious?
The later one is Betty compliant.
Which one?
How
Is it this one?
This the last one. Yes, yes, that one.
Is Betty compliant?
Yeah, it's still the same
This one is not Betty compliant.
multi-line.
This one is not Betty compliant.
You see the same multi-line comment stuff,
I'm not seeing your
but
screen,
that is the way
innocent.
I
Look for
understand
the
it.
screen and pin it. Look for the screen. Look for my stuff.
Your name is showing.
So, you know,
Sir?
for me, I'll
Your
say
profile is two, but no one is showing your screen.
Yeah, somebody wanted to say something. Can you speak up?
mm, there's actually no difference.
Okay.
It was just when ALX, as in when Julian was writing his own comment section just for ALX, he
Okay.
added an extra star. That's just to make it Betty compliant, as they said, for
Okay.
strictly ALX.
Okay.
It's just like we do not use double slash single line comments in ALX because Betty will not accept it. They strictly wrote starting with a star and ending with a star for Betty. It's the
So,
same thing.
did you try this on your normal terminal without doing SSH into Sandbox? Did it work or did it not work?
On SSH,
Not, you didn't do SSH. You are just using your normal Ubuntu terminal Git bash, and
that's
then
the okay. That's the web term.
yes, and you try this and try this. Did it not work?
Anyways, I never tried it.
I think you should try it so that you will know that Julian did not actually do this. This is a standard from Betty School.
Okay.
Julian didn't do this for Betty in ALX. It's a standard from Betty School. It's on GitHub. You can check it out.
Okay.
I didn't get it very innocent.
Sir?
The minute that one is standard for Betty. This one is standard for Betty.
Now, it depends. Oh, shit. You guys can see my screen, right? It's going now.
Yes. We are seeing
Battery low. We are seeing it.
insurgents.
Like this one. I cannot use this one. Yuba, please.
Except those
Come on. Come on. We are
except
going.
there's just a thing before you go. So,
Okay. So,
Uh, innocent, I did that thing. I checked that thing
allow
that you say this today.
you checked what?
allow him to
So I
finish.
got something. I don't know.
You have to end
That
the
thing you said should
end
check
it.
now.
Go
That
out and come
mean
back.
Okay. The float men.
yes,
It,
this thing they say yes they say int is the standard C that C requires it, but you can use void too. Void will also work for smaller programs,
who said
but
that?
more complex
Is it in
programs
today's meeting?
is online. No, not today's
He may
meeting. Yesterday's meeting. You
allow
said
him to
I was
include,
researching it
allow
today.
him to finish conclusion. Oh,
I was
okay
researching it
now.
today. So no,
Okay
I'm
now.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I would
Let
have
him
forgotten.
put the battery.
Okay,
Go
don't worry. I will
on.
join back with my phone, but I might not. I will not be the one teaching since my system is.
But finish this one. Before you go for water.
Ah, shit. Okay, so this is, will I say, if you are writing a comment and then you do not have multiple, wow, they just wrote like this is good. Okay, please just
Oh,
give me a few minutes. Let me get the laptop powered.
that's
Oh God, too like these people.
That shows that a good number of us don't want you to go. That's why you brought it up. Thank God for that.
you don't take up the class.
Is that?
You don't take up the class.
No, I'm not prepared for that. I just finished traveling down as in around that 8 when I logged on. I couldn't join because I was in the bus. I just entered home right quarter to 9 now, and I'm not
Hey, sorry.
in right
Come, come,
mind to
come.
present anything tonight. But
You
thank
know
God that
what?
they brought the lights for you. I'm happy
Hey,
for that.
you know what?
What?
No, I'm just moving.
Okay. What before he comes back, how far with our shell grouping and tasks? Have you done them?
No, no, we never do we dey
Me
look
and
our
my own
house.
partner since last week now. Now I no get time, guy. My
We
partner
no
no
get
vex so because she's here. She can hear me.
my partner said dey here. Make you no vex o.
How
Why?
far? How are you going to do it now? Time
We
is
will talk
going on.
about he wants to talk about it today. We will talk about it. He said it.
Yeah, about it. Ah, that's good. If Innocent will take us on
If
it,
you don't talk about it, you know they here to talk about it.
I'll be
If he's
happy if
not talking
Innocent
about
can take us.
if he's not talking about it, can't you talk about it
Me, I've not
after
done
he
it now. I've not done it
you
that
know
I've not researched about it. For the past 1 week, I've been having serious issues. Power pack issue, inverter issue, ball issue. Issues just plenty. Now today I'm just
yeah,
getting back to my feet, back
yeah,
to the
sorry.
my status.
Yeah, sorry,
Thank
sorry.
you, yeah. Thank you, yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, Chai. I wish Betty you understand. Sorry. I wish.
Okay, now you're not serious. You're not serious. You can. I guess Innocent is back. Innocent.
All right, guys, let's continue.
Ah,
Okay. As I said when
bring
you're
it
not
back.
around, I said that's the answer answering of my prayer. That it
Are
should not
we
go. Exactly. Because me, I know they prepared for any presentation tonight, but thank God. Let's go. Go ahead.
okay?
Shoot.
So when you're having a straight line comment, maybe you want to write um, a line, maybe plenty multiple lines, and but it's a single line, like a single in the sense that you're just maybe you want to write a function, write a program that does this and does this and does that and does that. You can with different space you can always do that. Okay, let me see if I think I wrote something. Ah, shit, it's gone. So what I'm trying to explain is that if you're having, maybe I wrote a text here and I do enter and I do another text and I do enter, and you keep writing plenty text, you can use this. But when it comes to places where you start mentioning key functions, like I want to put the main, you know the principle of the main. When you write your main, you put a slash. If not, Betty will quarrel you and say, what was the statement again? Undefined main, something like that. So, and you now write your story here. That's for the main. And then you have your return function. Remember, the return, the first R must be in capital letter. Your return function, and you write your 0. So immediately you start mentioning functions like this, you are advised to use this type of comments. But if you are writing a straight story, you are advised to use this one. So you can also have, maybe I have a sub function. I'm doing maybe recursion, and I have other functions that I want to mention. You use this at key, and then I want to tell them that any place you see, okay, that is a function, a function that carries out addition. If I have another function, you put your at and now call it maybe Chika, and Chika is a function that does blah blue 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 blah.
But is it not supposed to be in colon instead of hyphen? The ones on at, like at.
No, the ones on at you can
Colon.
either use colon or hyphen. It's Betty automatically permits it.
Okay, okay.
You can choose to do that. You can choose to use the hyphen. So if you're calling out functions in your program and you want to write, especially in the introductory part, you are advised to do something like this.
blah blah.
I know they there. You where they talk. This call is recorded, so it will be online. I know they there.
But anyway, right now, go see to do for.
So I was advising that time that you you buy into the idea of going to write um, comments to all your codes. Maybe if you are writing a personal program, like you want to adapt to that our method of writing one program a day. I'm still in the call, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
you
so
are.
you want to adapt to that program stuff of writing one program a day. So you can always each of the program you're writing, so that you keep it as your a reminder. You can always put your name. Your name is Odo Innocent Charles, and the date I'm writing this program.
You put down 14 now. Maybe on a time it's for you put down 14. You put down that thing. Be like,
Brother, leave I'm there.
maybe.
I'm only trying to show example. And maybe you just write the purpose of the program you're writing. And you can just tell us what the program can do or the functionality of the program. So in this kind of act, you are advised to use this type of comment. So something like this. So in each of the personal programs you write for yourself, you can always do this and keep it as record. So if I'm an HR and I come to your GitHub and I'm saying, okay, this guy actually on his own was doing this at so time. Okay, so this is his 5 years of programming and he has been working on. So I could see a consistent progress. I'm seeing 2022. I'm seeing the one you wrote December 2022, January. So I'm seeing consistency in your progress. And apart from that, for your own personal self, you can always come and say, oh, so I wrote this program at so time. In fact, I think one day I went into my GitHub. I saw one of these called 12 guys were asking me for one command I forgot. I had to go to my GitHub and I'm seeing commits 3 months ago, and I'm like, wow. So we don't even reach 3 months for this program like this. So, but I'm seeing those commands. I can't even actually remember the dates I wrote those programs. But I know it's 3 months ago. When is it 3 months? So that's commenting, and I believe that everybody understand that. If you do not understand, please shoot your question now, or you forever remain silent in comments.
Okay.
See tomorrow.
What's the difference now?
Sir?
What's the difference between the one that begins with double star and the ones that begin with single star
There's no major
in
difference.
the multi-line comments?
There's no much difference. I'm only telling you that for you to write your comments to be Betty compliant, if you are using the single star, you can only write, maybe you want to write plenty lines of statements. You want to write plenty, like this is plenty lines of statement I just wrote here. But if you are calling in a function in your comments, like your main, you want to call in your main and you want to tell us what the main does, you want to call in other sub functions like if you are doing recursion and you have, or you are doing a struct diff, sorry, a type diff struct. So you want to tell us what the struct is doing. So you now say add struct. So immediately you start calling in functions in those comments. You are advised to use this double star comment.
Okay.
All right. But if you have
Yeah.
plenty statements to write, maybe write a program that allows you to print also on the screen, that allows you, that's plenty statements, and you want to write, even if you want to write one page of statement, you can write it inside this single star comment, and Betty will allow you. But immediately you start mentioning functions in your code, in your comments, Betty will not allow you go if you are using this.
Okay. I will forget to understand this.
So this is a typical example of um, double star comment. When you start mentioning things like this and putting your semicolon and slash, so you are advised to use this for better compliance. But if you are having plenty story to just write without mentioning any functions and double colon and dash and that, you can actually use this. But if you just want to write, maybe you wrote a line of code like printf %d, you can now tell somebody that %d is a format specifier. So you want to write something, let me type it. People like seeing reality. So you want to tell us something like %d. You can come by the corner and tell us that, okay, this %d is called format specifier. That's for a learner programmer. This %d is called format specifier. So this is example of single line comment. You can always add it in different ways in your code. So at least, even if an HR is wandering his way, an HR that is not a programmer, because it's not all companies that have a software engineer or a programmer as an HR. Majorly it's those business people that, and they want to see you send them your GitHub and they don't know anything about coding. All these specifier you are doing, they don't know. So they just come to your comment and they look through and say, oh, so this thing now, what thing you mean by this? Immediately they check this. The next thing they want to see is outputs. They want to see what this rubbish you are writing, what it actually does. They don't care the plenty line of code you are writing and the technicality of your code is rubbish to them. What they just want is results. Even if you go to an interview now, out of 100 people, 100 people that will interview you, it is one or two software engineers that will be there. The rest will be normal people, economics, all those managers, this, that, and they don't know anything about coding. What they want, maybe the software engineer guys will give you a question to solve. What those other 80% guys are looking for is the results. Whereas the software engineer guy is looking for your thought process and how you able to write down your code and the neatness of your code. Whereas the rest of the 80%, which are the decision makers, are waiting for the results, because maybe that's the challenge they're having in their company, and they're telling you, okay, write a program that allows a patient to check body mass index. They want to actually see results, that okay, if I put my weight and put my height and put my this, I should be able to see result of body mass index. They don't care whatsoever you are doing on the background here. It's only the 2% of the people of that people that are interviewing you, which are software engineers, that will now say, okay, guy, you actually, this is your thought process, this is what you actually did. So they will now, it is when they will now say, okay, this software engineer will now say, okay, the guy is good. So even if they are telling you that the guy is good and there is no result, it's waste of time, or you are going home. All right, so I think everything there is very clear, right? You can move on.
Yes.
All right, so we've done commenting, and we've done header files and we've done commenting, and that's all. So let's look at our header file. Somebody was talking about header file that is not float, is not. Can the person speak out again, because this is the right time now? Hello, somebody was speaking about this int main. Can you speak out again? Now we don't reach right time to talk now, you know go talk. Abi, is the person out of the call?
Maybe. Continue.
Okay, so we can see that it's printing out on the screen. There is something I want to check that we were talking about yesterday. So the question was that why do we have int main here? Because this is the main that carries out all other operations, and we have 4 different data types, which we are going to talk about it now. So why does the main have, why do we call it int main alone? Why not float main? Why not char main? Why not double main? So today we are going to be trying that out. Let's say it is called a float main. Can it work? It will not even work, because this thing is already telling us return type of main is not int. It can't even work. So up till now I've not gotten my answer. Maybe somebody can help me. It's
No,
working
they
now.
say
It's
it's
working.
a
See, and it's
C,
working.
it's required in
Oh,
C.
guy is working.
And they say some other things, so even void work, but C requires that use int because it will show when you're doing a big program. When you're in a very big program, that thing is because of error. When
Let's
it returns
try.
zero, it means
Let's
there's no
try
error.
char.
Now all those other numbers actually mean error. That's what the material was saying.
Char is even working. This is awesome. Abina, because of this code editor, we need to try in Ubuntu, because Ubuntu is the father first.
No, wait, oh, no, it's not. See, what you're returning is not showing yet now. Because this one is not JavaScript that your result is what you return. Anything you write in C function, it will show you the thing, then it will not show you the process returns and so that's where this thing is.
That's where the wahala will be.
Because even void will show you, yes, that's where the all of it. Because even if you use void, it will see print hello world. But what did they return actually? After showing you what they printed, it will also show you what they returned. In my post.
Okay. Since it's not showing us what to return, but at least we are seeing that it's working.
Especially, you may not know the process.
Come again.
This thing now, the the process supposed to return after showing you the hello world, supposed to show you the process returns.
I'm not using code block, so it will not show now.
maybe zero. So that see we actually have the code block. Is it the code block? It's not the code block that does that.
Okay, guys.
It's not
So
the code block that does that.
that is it. Let's get into the next simple topic that is called variable. Yes, somebody should shout out what are variables.
Hello, sorry. Good evening, Mr. Innocent.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, please, I wanted to just draw you back a little on
Okay.
that int main. Okay, I don't know specifically the material I read through or I saw, but I know that one thing that was stated there was the fact that the computer understands numbers, binaries, and so we use int because ints are like whole numbers by whole number. So the system, the computer converts whatever either be it integer or numbers of 0 and 1, and that's the main reason why int is usually used with main. I don't know the exact material because I've gone through 1001 material, but I don't really know the exact one that gave that explanation, but that was one of the explanations why int is used most times with the main function. Thank you.
You just want 500 megabytes. So,
Yeah, I agree with Omena,
so
and with the fact that every
you just
letter
want
has an
500
ASCII.
megabytes. Tomorrow, send me your MTN line. I'll send you 500 megabytes.
So you no go send anything
Thank you,
about
sir.
about na
Thank you,
cheating.
thank you, thank you,
Na
thank
cheating
you,
o, na
sir.
cheating o.
My
Na
friend, which one
cheating o,
is
innocent.
cheating?
This one na
I
cheating
gave
o.
a research. Somebody went and did the
Na
research and
cheating
got the
na.
answer right. And you are telling me it's cheating. Which one is cheating?
I did the research you know.
But you don't get
I
the
did the
answer now.
research too now.
But you don't get the answer now.
Ah,
Please don't forget.
how I no get the
Before I
answer?
forget, tomorrow morning, just first of all, chat me or just send me your number. I'll send you 500 megabytes. Thank you so much. That was excellent. I actually knew the answer when we were doing Bitwise. And all this while, I've been asking that question. It was when we were doing Bitwise I knew that it's because it's binary. So I threw it to the. I purposely asked that question frequently because I was waiting for somebody to talk. That's good. So let's talk about variables. Thank you so much. I'm very happy for that. Let's talk about variables. What are variables? Can somebody help us out? I think our time for this class has finished. We're supposed to be talking about our project. Then we'll close by dot 10. So let's talk on variables and data types, and then we'll wrap it up and go back to simple share. Hello, variables, please. Let me be looking for people to point. Some people are naturally quiet in this group.
Uh,
Again, I don't want you to talk.
variable stores
No, no,
data.
no, ga. Mute your
Why
mic.
no?
Sunday law. Are you in this meeting with us?
Yes, innocent. I'm in the meeting.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, please, can you help us on variables?
Variables are what we use in storing data. Um, at least before we start on any coding, we should have um, I think it could also be like characters or something. Maybe like you say A is equals to 10, you need to declare variable before you can, code on anything. I think that's all I can say about it.
Okay. So how do I declare it?
Quite, quite.
Come again.
Um, no, it's my daughter. I just,
Okay. So how do we declare these variables? How do we even use them? So can I just type maybe var like this? Is that correct? Is that a variable?
yeah, well, that's correct. Yeah. Uh, consider like A, maybe like want to like get the sum of something. I just like x is equal to 4, then it x
Just
equals to
just
4.
just tell me, let me be typing. What do I do? Like if I want to declare variable, what do I do now?
Yeah, after putting the header file, as in the include stdio,
Okay.
then main, that's hashtag include stdio
Yes,
dot
they are
h,
already on the screen.
and main dot a. Yeah, then we can just like a or x is equal to 10, then maybe y is also equal to like 15.
Hmm.
That's int
What
x is
what?
equal
Just
to
tell me
10.
what do I type exactly right now?
Like int x is equal to 10.
Okay, int x is equals to
Yes.
10.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a variable, right?
Yeah.
Is it the whole of this that is a variable?
The 10 itself.
Okay, the 10 itself is a variable.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's this one?
The X is a variable there.
Ah,
In
that's not for you.
in C is meant to be there. To declare a variable, you must initialize it with int, character, or double or float.
Okay, this
So
is
if you are
ask.
using an integer, we say int x equals 10 or float x equals 10, depending on the data type you want to use.
Okay, which one is data type and which one is variable?
Data type is the int,
Okay,
character,
is the
float,
int. Okay, like from
int,
this
yeah,
statement now, the data type is int, right?
int,
Okay,
yeah,
which one is the variable now?
x equals to 10.
Okay, x is equals to 10 is the variable.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, you're correct, but I will give you 70 over 100.
Okay. What happened to the remaining 30? What did I get? Where did I go wrong?
You will learn in the process. You will just know. By the time we are done with this variable, I will ask you again. I will write this same code and ask you again, so you will get your 100%.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I think for us to be able to understand this variable very well, we need to understand data type. So there are three. What are data types first before we can mention what the four different data types? Somebody else should help me. Before I'll go and point out, I'll go and look
There's
for
into
somebody to point now.
You said
What are data types?
data types. um
Do you ask for the data type?
Sorry?
You ask for the data
Yes,
types,
data
right?
types, data types.
Okay, they are integers,
No, I'm
double.
not asking for. I'm saying what is data type? What are data types?
Okay. Mm,
for me,
the way
I
I
understand
understand
it
it,
as Okay.
It's
I
sharing
should,
of
should I
knowledge. You can
continue?
define it in your own. You might not. You don't need from what you've
Okay, the way
understood
I
so far.
understand data types,
Hmm.
there are types of data that we use to declare a variable.
Okay. Okay. But that's a very big English. I'm
Go
looking
ahead.
for. I'm looking for something that even a mere man can just understand. Even somebody that is not a programmer can just understand.
Okay, please, can I try?
Yes. Go
Can
ahead.
I try?
Yes, please.
Okay, for me, before I will talk about data type, I'll
Hmm.
have to go back to
Is
variable.
Okay.
is
Now, a variable is like a container
Hmm.
or a plate
Hmm.
in the computer, in memory, where we store something. That something could be letters, it could be numbers, that is values or characters.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, the data type enables us to classify this thing that we stored, this values or this character, into different segments. That's where the data type now comes in.
Hmm.
Is it
Hmm.
whole numbers that we're storing? It now comes to integer. Is it decimal? You now start classifying your variables which you stored in that container somewhere in memory in your system into different parts. That's where the data type now comes to play.
Yeah. You are talking to a 6-year-old child, though. You are not talking to a programmer. Because all these.
Hello, Udo.
Yes.
Hello, let me try if I can explain to six
Yes.
year
Explain
old
to a
child.
6-year-old
No, when
child.
we talk data type, data is information. So if you ask somebody,
You are
give
even
me your
starting
data,
with
you are
formation.
telling the
How
person
do
to give you
a 6-year-old child understand formation?
information. No, information in the sense that you are telling somebody to tell me about you. I want to know about you. Give me your information. I want to know. If you tell somebody, give me your information,
Okay. Okay.
the person. Okay, should I go on?
Yes. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you tell somebody, give me your information, the first thing that will come to the person's mind is, okay, you information like, that's where the data type now comes. Information like your name, your age, your height, where you stay, and all that. So data is generally your information that can be classified into maybe your age, your name. That's where the type now comes in: integer, float, double. Thank you.
Okay. That's good. That's another good ideas out there. So is that all? Is somebody? Are you? But you've not said anything in this meeting. Now you go sabi simplify this thing pass. Ayuba, please help us. Ayuba.
E be like say no dey o. Abeg anybody wey get CC pikin make the person bring am. Make we use am
Okay, let
test
me
the
let
all
me
this
also
our
let me see
definition
how
whether the
to
pikin go
explain this
understand.
to a 6-year-old child. Now, data types are okay. If I use that statement, it will still be. Now let's use an example of a holder. If I want to put water, I will put water in a bucket, right? Can you put water in a basket? No. So let's look at data type as that holder that hold whatever you want to put inside. You can only put maybe a maybe solid stuff in a basket, that not liquid, because it will definitely pour out. So they are specifiers. They specify the kind of information you want to put. Data types are like specifiers. They definitely specify the kind of information you want to hold. So if I want to hold water, I will bring a container. If I want to hold solid items, I can bring a basket. Okay, so when you are seeing integer is like maybe a bucket that I want to put water. So you can put in your digit that doesn't have 0 point something, whole numbers. That's what you just put. So let's classify the whole numbers as solid items. So we just put them, sorry, let's classify the whole number as solid item. We put them in a basket. They are whole numbers, they will not leak out. So but when we are having items that will leak, like water, we put them in a bucket. So we call them, maybe we can use something like float. We know that float has 0.00000, so it can definitely leak out. So we just use a bucket and pack all the zeros so that none of them will leak out. So that's a simple way you can explain to a 6-year-old boy. Maybe you can have a practical stuff. You have a basket and you put water and you see the water pour out and you say, you see, this is the wrong data type. So what you can put inside this data type that's a basket is a whole number. Maybe like fruits like mango, they will not go out. And then if you are having floats like 0.000, there are many, so they cannot enter inside this basket because it will leak out. If I'm having 10.59999, if I put it inside this basket, the 0.5999 will pour out. It will only take the whole number, the rest will not be found. So I don't want to waste this other information. That's why I'm using a bucket to hold the rest of the 59999 and everything in it. So just know that data types are specifiers. They specify the kind. That's why it's called data type. So they specify the type of information you want to hold. Okay, so we have different types of data types. We have char, and this char means character. So they had to remove from here, they had to separate this, and they took this and make it char. So but in full it is called character. So this character can only hold alphabets. That's why it is called a character. Can only hold alphabets. Example, if I say cha chika, equals to, I can only hold alphabet, like maybe A or B or C, or I cannot hold more than alphabet. If you want to type full thing like this, it will be wrong. You can't hold that, except you want to modify it and turn it to a string, and you know that a string you have to add this, and then you specify the number of what you actually want to hold. If I want to hold 15 characters, sorry, if I want to hold a 15 character, then I can now know that I've already specified 15 here. I can hold up to 15 characters. Okay, so that's an example of a data type. Or the second one here, somebody should give me the next one.
Double.
Okay,
And int.
Double,
let's use int.
double,
And this
long,
int is
long,
called integer.
double, long. Blah, blah,
So
blah.
I'll be coming down. See me.
Short, long, double. etc.
It's called, this int is called an integer. That means they are definitely whole numbers. They are whole numbers. Like I said, you can use a basket to keep an whole numbers. So we are seeing this integer now as a basket that can only carry whole numbers. So I can say int int who was talking safe? Int Ibrahim. I need to know all of your names. Int Ibrahim, and this place can only hold whole numbers like 4, like 50, like 57. Now anything beyond a whole number, int cannot hold it. So if you have 57 points, immediately you enter points and you put any other thing, int cannot carry this. You can even see it from this thing. As I hover this mouse over here, you can see expected. Okay, this is not even it. So although this stuff is showing, but it will, if you run it, it will not show the 0.000. So anything 0.000 int cannot carry. That's why I was telling you, I'm explaining to a 6-year-old child that let's see this 0.000 as water, so it will leak inside this basket. This is like, let's see this as a basket. If you put this water inside the basket, it's going to leak. So we only put whole numbers like oranges, which are whole numbers. It will not leak inside this basket. So that's an example of integer. And the next data type we have is float. And what does float do? Sorry for that. How do you call? Float holds decimal. Float can hold decimal. So this is where you can now say, okay, float me. No, who else? Oh, okay, Angel gave us a speech today, so let's use that. Float Angel, and then you can put your 8 point something something something. You can put your pi. What's pi self? 3.1 for Abby. Alright. So anything point something something can be found under float. Okay, and the last thing here is double. These are the basics of data type. Who is this person? So this double can hold either, whether it is integer or it is a floating point number. Or it's a decimal. So this double can hold whether it is integer or it's a floating point number. It can hold anyone. So there are more to data type. We have data types, which are this one, and we have their specifiers. So let's assume I declare something like char I, and I say is equals to maybe A. Remember, anytime you're writing an alphabet, you must have this column, these two columns. How do I call this in my program so that it will work? There's what we call format specifier. Hey, I don't come out for this meeting since.
Mistakenly.
No, my network don't come out to me. Hello, am I back in the meeting?
Yeah, I think
Evening,
this.
sir.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, I think this. Good evening, ma'ams and sirs. I guess, Innocent, you're back.
Yes, I'm back.
I was trying to confirm if the network is fluctuating or what's happening because it's even giving errors over here. But no problem. You can still go ahead, please.
Okay, so where did you stop? Where did you guys stop? Did you get to format specifier? I didn't know that I'm out of.
Oh, you were talking about the float at the point.
Is it float? Hey, it means I don't come out things.
Yeah, so float to float.
Ah, it means I don't come out things with that. Are you serious? It's float. Here you go. Something that I finished this thing since, and I'm doing a format specifier. Okay, so I said that float can take in decimal numbers, like you have your 0 point anything number that has point something something something. So I've gone far. I did not know. So it takes in decimal, so I can say float I is equals to, you can put in any number here like 78.000 whatever, 78.89 whatever, and then you can even put your pi. Pi is this. I can choose to write pi like this. It will still print out. I can still to write pi as 22 divided by 7, and it will work very well. If I call this in my program, it will work. So that's for float. The last, these are the basic ones we are mentioning. The last one is double. So when you want to talk of higher ones, maybe with time, when we are doing integer, you now start seeing sign ins on sign ins, and all those, many of them. So for the double can function as both integer and as decimal. So maybe I don't want to stress myself, or maybe I don't know what the result of my program will run. So, and I don't know whether it's going to be integer or it's going to be a float. So I can decide to just use a double that can give me, so any category that my answer falls, whether it is integer or a float, it will just print out. So the double can, let's assume I want to declare double, and I'm saying double I is equals to, I can decide to use integer, I can decide to use number with point, and it will print anyone. I hope I'm still in the meeting before I'll now go out and I don't know.
Right.
Okay, so those are the four fundamental data types we have in C programming. Alright, so how do we, let's assume we declare each of these data type, how do we call it into our program? How do we use it when we are printing out an output? That's what leads us to format specifier. So somebody can help us. What is format specifier? Yes, why am I even typing in this thing alone? Who else is inside this program, on this platform? Please type sharp. Are you on this platform, right?
Yes, but I'm moving in now.
Alright. Please, what are format specifier? And somebody should as the person is explaining format specifier, mentioning the different types of format specifier, somebody else should be typing. Let me be watching. I've tried. Have I not tried? It's already past 10, so the class is finishing. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, can you recopy and paste the link to the system, please? When I lose the network,
Why must it be you? Another person cannot do this.
somebody should do that. People are not doing it. That's the issue now.
Hello, please. Somebody else should do that, please.
Chicken, I guess you have go
My
ahead.
laptop is we are just starting
I no get link. I no get the.
I have people inside
Okay.
this. I have people inside this platform already. I have two guys, two people inside this platform. Who are they?
my laptop is dead. I was there before, so I'm using my phone like this.
I
Okay.
have Victor Steven here. I have Moses here.
If I'm asked, okay. Okay, maybe because you go ahead with the typing. If I'm asked to explain what format specifier means, I will say format specifier is um, like a code that specifies the format of what is going to be displayed. What do I mean by this? Um, it's it's like a predetermined code that represents each and every data type. That means, as you explained the other time, that by data type we're talking about the type of data or the type of information that we are going to be storing. Now, the as they have different physical and chemical properties, hence, when you want to display them, you need to let the computer know that this is the type of data you are about to present, or the that it should be ready to prepare itself that this is the type of data you are about to display. Therefore, with that, we now tell the computer using the format specifiers, which are the percentage %G, percentage %S, percentage what else? Percentage L, so many of them, I can't even remember. But each of them stands for different types of data to be displayed. That's what I can say, sir. Fasasi, you raise your hand.
Ah, it's by mistake. Oh, I didn't know. Sorry.
Mr. Anderson, you can go ahead. Or can somebody else explain it better? Format specifier, what does it mean? How can
I
you
don't have
explain it to a
idea.
6-year-old boy?
I don't have idea.
You don't have idea. Okay, thank you, Brian. Who else has idea of how to explain it? Format specifier.
Well, I don't know if a CCO would understand this, but based on what I'm seeing, because we're the new format specifier now, one the layman will just want to assume it's just a format. But the way it's looking here, it's looking more like it's specifying the data type. That's the data type to be printed. The word format is more than that. So in this case, the use in this case now it's more like it's trying to specify the data type of what to be printed next. Yes, when you put like you put G, you're saying that you're going to
Okay.
print an integer or
But
a string,
really, it also does the
and that,
formatting
but
too.
it's mainly data type.
It's also possible using this format specifier. Are you telling me?
Doing the I think you might have to explain that one. Format as per is it in print F or scan F?
In print, in printing, in displaying. Maybe, for instance, you want to have a division, and you know that the output, since it's going to be a division, are both integers, for instance, that you have specified them to be, that they are integers. But at the point of you are dividing the two, we know that it's most likely the result is going to be giving us a decimal fractions. Now, at the point of specifying the format, we can also, because if you divide, for instance, if you divide 2 divided by 3, that should give you 0.66666666666 till eternity. You understand? That means with the format
Yeah.
specifier, we can also cut how many decimal places you want it to display. Is it 4 decimal place? Is it 2 decimal place? And things like that. It's also done that way. It can also be used for that. Do you get me, sir?
Oh, I so thank you. Thank you. I didn't even occur to me, sir. Didn't even occur to me. That's so.
Contribution on. Okay. Any
That
other?
means that's a good definition.
Okay, sir. Who else has his contribution on format specifier? What does it mean to you? Somebody else? Angel?
Hi. So I think format specifiers basically take input and produce output. So if you are specifying an integer, it's just taking an input of an integer into print out an output of an integer. That's why you have a specifier format that has already been predefined. Hello?
Network.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Angel.
I can't hear you more. Okay, you're back. I can't. I cannot. I didn't hear you again.
Okay, I heard you.
Innocent Alpha.
I heard you clearly.
Okay.
Okay,
So
thank you.
that's awesome idea. So can we write out this format specifier? Can somebody be typing it? Let's see, and be explaining while we write it up. Hello.
So you mean someone should write it out?
Yeah, somebody should type it. I have people on this platform. Are you back?
Okay.
Somebody else should be writing the next format specifier.
Which other one?
Format specifier for
Right.
char, for int, for float, and for double.
Okay, I'll go ahead, people. Let's have it explained, please.
Okay, what percentage C for character?
Now let's
Like
explain. That's why
Percentage
it's
two.
writing one by one. We want to understand what this one does. Okay, but before then, I want us to immediately we have something like this. I want us to explain it and practicalize it, like so we can see how it works and how the input works on the output. So, but before then, we cannot understand format specifier without knowing what is this. Okay, so we've already talked on data types. The data types specify the type of information that is going to be stored in this, and we've already written out example of how all those types of information looks like. So what is a variable? Because without a variable, the data types cannot work. We cannot utilize this data type. So what is a variable? So that this person that wrote this code can be able to understand what this means, and we can be able to utilize this practice in our output. Alright, be talking while I will be typing, because I have plenty things to type and we have to finish early. Ayuba, can you coordinate that process, please? Because I want to be
Okay.
typing now.
that is a
Okay, we want to write
LFO.
a program for that.
Yeah, I want to write program for how we can use this, and I need like 4 different programs. So I need you people to talk about this so that we can just define it and we end the class, because it's taking too much time.
Okay. The question is, what is a variable, guys? Can somebody explain what a variable now is?
We've defined that before now. No? I thought we had defined that.
We've had some
Oh,
suggestions. So they
okay.
now
What?
said when we discuss format specifier and data types, it will now be clearer or easier to define what a variable stands for. Can you go over it again, ma'am?
Okay, in
From
simple terms. I thought you wanted to talk. In simple terms,
okay, okay,
a
okay. Sorry, go first.
Ladies first.
Okay. Did
Go ahead, Domina.
okay, thank you, sir. I said in simple terms, a variable is like a container or a place where we store values or letters or characters, where we store something. So linking it to the variable types, a variable is like a place, a storage where we can store, like if we are saying our values, which is more or less like the integer, where we can store values for integer. And now for us to store that value, or which is an integer, we want to print it to standard output. That's where our specifier, format specifier now comes in, that we need to use percentage %d to be able to call or print out our integer, which is a type of variable, to standard output. I think that's just the correlation I can give concerning the three. Thank you.
If you are
Okay, thank
explaining
you,
that
Domina.
to your daughter in the house, you
So,
will confuse
may I
well
come
well.
in?
Amatika, shoot.
Eh, yeah. So,
Amatika,
if
the
we
party.
talk, sorry.
I thought you were in the party.
No, it's my phone that is ringing. Somebody is calling.
Okay, okay, right. Sorry. Right.
Okay. So, just as Mena said, that container, we use it to store a specific type of data. If the system, like the program, you are according to C, you are storing a particular data, you have to specify what kind of data you are storing.
if it's you are storing a number, you have to tell the system I'm storing a number. So if we store a number inside this variable, inside this container, and we want to see that whatever data we store inside that container, we need to specify, tell the system also that you want to call this data in this particular container. If it's an int, you still need to specify that, okay, I want you to print this data, which is a number. That is where the specifier comes in. If you don't use that specifier, the program will not know what kind of data you are calling out. If you store an int and you are printing out without a specifier, the program will not understand the kind of data you are trying to call. So that is the importance of the specifier
No, we
in
are not
C
talking
programming.
about specifier here. We're talking about variables.
Yeah, okay, how it correlates, like as in
No,
how
we're
it
just talking
link
about
it.
generally what is variables. That's what we are talking about.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I think I'm done with what I'm doing. So we already said that data types, that this is like a container where we use baskets and then we use buckets.
No, na variable we take explain that one. You don't tire, abi? This was smile. It was when we were explaining variable, we were talking about the basket and the rest like that. This ones is that the things we want to keep are they liquid? Is it salt? Is it solid and the rest like those are the data types.
Okay. Yes,
Exactly.
that specify the kind of information you want to store.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we say that variables are like the container, and this container is going to store a specific uh, information, which this has already determined that specific information, whether it is liquid, whether it is whole numbers. Remember that this bro tells us about that specific information, and that specific information is this one. So when we now get this specific information because of the leading of this type, this data type, we now pack both of them and we put it inside here called the variable. Okay, so let's assume we have um, a bucket and we want to store pens. Pens is a mixture of, I don't know, for people that know pens, I don't know. So but I know that there is liquid inside it and there are other components. So this bucket we are having, the container, this has already told us what we are expecting, that we are expecting a liquid, a pent. Okay, and this is the pent. So we now pack this and we store it inside this called a variable. So this variable holds the information that this has already classified. Alright, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So if I'm
Please come again.
okay, we have a variable, and that variable, let's look at that variable as a container, and this is the container called the variable, and this container stores this information that is classified by this. Remember that whatsoever you be declaring here, which is the argument, let me not bring plenty English. Whatsoever you are declaring, it is this data type that tells you what you are to declare. If I'm having an integer here, that means I'm declaring a whole number. This data type has already told me what I need to declare. So when I'm done declaring, I'm going to take it and put it inside this empty container. I'm going to store it inside here. So this thing serves as a storage facility, a storage pack that keeps this information. This information that was already specified to us by the data type, what we want. If we want a float, so immediately I write float here. This has already told me the kind of information I want to store in this stuff. So if I write float here and I declare my variable, or even if you want to write, let's assume you want to write a data type, or you want to declare a variable, so I can just first declare my variable. And remember, variable, as the name implies, means variety. So I can have, it gives you opportunity to have varieties of names. I can decide to use Chika as my variable name. See it as, oh, who is this person? So I can decide to use Chika. I can decide to use Ben. I can decide to use I can decide to use H. That is variety. You are at liberty to choose whatsoever you want your container name to be, your variable name to be. Can be anything. So I can decide to use Ino. That's why it's called variable. It has variety. So I call it Ino. That's the container name. And I want to put something inside this, what do I have in mind to put inside? Is it an integer? Is it whole numbers? Is it decimal numbers? Is it characters? Depending on the kind of program I want to write. Let's assume I want to print out the age of Innocent. Now remember that your variable name should always, because maybe you want to print out the age, should always try to remind you of what the purpose you have in mind. Okay, so if you want to be more detailed enough, you can decide to write, I want to print out the age. Okay, the purpose of the program is age, so I can write age as my variable name, so that each time I look at this variable name, I can know that, okay, what I wanted to do here is that I want to print out the age of Alright, so I will first write my variable name, which is the container. Let's view it as the container. So what do I want to store in this container? And we know that age is a whole number. And what data type carries a whole number? We now think it is an integer, because it does not have points, so it's just a whole number. So I can put the age is 70 years, so I will just write the 70 there. That means this, you see this sign, it's called an assignment. You are assigning 70 and putting 70 into this container. But the only thing that can hold this 70 in this container is the class, is the data type. So I'm going to come here and put the data type integer. So I have declared my variable. So if I want to declare another variable, I want to check, I want to see what is inside my account balance. So I can use inner account. Have you seen the way I'm writing this stuff? I try to put an alphabet, a capital letter in front, so that you will know that this is the beginning of a new line. So you can either use that way or you can use this way. This is how variables are being declared. So you can say, I can decide to call it inner account because I want to check my account balance. So what is the data that is stored in this account? We know the account used to store point something something. So I have 2 billion. I'm a big boy. I have. Am I still in this meeting? Before I'll go out and I don't know.
Yeah, dear bros.
Okay. So I have 2 billion point 67 naira. So if I have 2 million point 67 naira, this has a point. That means it cannot be an integer because we all know that integer is a class of data that can only hold numbers that doesn't have a point. So this one now have a point. So I can decide to use the float because float is class that carries numbers with points. So I will come here and add my float. So you now see that this is the class of this data and this is the variable name. This is the variable. This variable carries this information that was specified by this class. Is that clear? Hello, is that clear? Where is Sunday?
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Sunday law.
It is. Yeah,
Do you now
it's clear.
understand this
It's
thing
clear.
now?
Yeah.
So can you now explain what you wrote here? Which one is now the variable? Which one is now the information? And which one is the data type?
The the int now, integer is the data type. The variable is x, which is a container
Okay,
that stores this number 10. That's
exactly.
carrying this number 10 in it.
You see why I gave you 70?
Yeah.
So I was not a bad judge.
No, 77. You try it.
Okay. Okay, so we're about to do the practical aspect of it. Okay, let's talk a little about this format specifier. The person that wrote this format specifier, you are just writing and you wrote this one correctly. And why did you leave all these ones? The person that wrote this format specifier, come and explain to us what you are writing here because even me, I don't understand.
But not the person that wrote it now. Let somebody else explain it now. Because Steven, I explain.
Okay, the format specifier n. Hello.
So we are with you. Go ahead.
Okay, the format specifier n means nothing.
Means nothing.
It prints nothing.
Can you imagine? I never knew that.
It gives no output. That's what it means.
Okay, so you can just put nothing here now. Let's print nothing so that we know. This is my first time of learning that.
Okay.
So guys, you can see that I used this multiple line comments and I commented the whole of this statement out to this point.
Victor, what do you mean by brings nothing?
This is what you started
It
here.
doesn't print anything. It doesn't print any output to the
It
screen.
gives no output. Ivibo.
So if it doesn't, so why do we have to specify?
Because it's a specifier that prints nothing. So the next one, let's see. Can we be using it? Let's be using these specifiers. Okay, let's use the first one here. Let's use them one by one. Meanwhile, please, those people that are writing the comments, can you please just complete all these comments? Let's know what they do. Okay guys, while they complete the comment section, this is my int main, and I declared a variable, and that is integer, sorry, this is the data type integer, and this is the variable, and I put the age. I actually want to see the age of Sunday. So I actually want to see the age of Sunday, and Sunday is 27 years. I want to print it out on the screen, and we are using format specifier n, and they say that n prints nothing on the screen. So I want to check if that is true. So this is GCC. Maybe we are going to talk about GCC compiler in our next class. Let's see how GCC compiles to .o files, to assembly files, and all the files required, from preprocessor to down to linker. So we say GCC main.h main.c, we output it to result. Anything that is not commented out here. Oh, this. So as you can see in this I hope you can see my shell, right? Hello,
Yes.
can you see what is it?
Yes, you can see it.
So it's telling us that this one we declared is an integer. That's why it's written int here. So that we are not supposed to use n, because n, it doesn't work here. That this, you are supposed to use format. This is how you debug. You debug your code. You're supposed to use format specifier d, because this is an integer. Please can you mute your mic if you're not talking? So, but personally,
Describe it.
You
can I go ahead?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so I said that since it's an integer we declared, we cannot use non percent int here. We have to use d. So, but I keep asking, why do I need to use d? Somebody like me, I use I because integer is I, so I use I. And let's see if that is going to work. It actually worked, and it's printing out the result to the screen.
I know this is what I was asking. Why now say it prints? Why now say it prints nothing if it is asking you that you put in a wrong specifier?
If I'm putting if I'm writing a code that is supposed to print nothing, that requires that specifier, that's the specifier I will use. But for this one now, I'm writing a code that is supposed to print an integer. So maybe if I have a function like void, and I'm telling my return statement to return nothing, so maybe I could use that. Do you now understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, this is what we asked this stuff to print out. We want it to print out our friend Sunday is dash years old. So that's what I want to print. And it's giving us just that our friend Sunday is 27-year old. Remember, we declared a variable and we stored it inside each Sunday, and then we use the format specifier .I %I, which stands for integer. Now what they actually did here is that since C is for character, the format specifier for C, they just picked out this very first alphabet here and made it a specifier. So we called it format specifier C, that is for character. They just picked out this C here. For integer, they also picked out the very first I, that's for int, and they put the format specifier I. And for float point here, they pick out the very first and they call it F. So, but for the double, I don't know why they decide to change the double, but the double is IF, or you can even still use F. Maybe because it's a float, it prints floating point characters. It has something like maybe 27 point something something. So since it's printing something close to this, they had to just still use the F here. Alright, so that's an example of how integers actually work. So you put the format specifier here, it will definitely replace the I with the 27. So your new assignment, because I'm about to end this class now, Ayuba knows that I'm tired after a long night job. So your assignment now is to write print out using the rest of the format specifier. Write a code that print out the rest of the format specifier except the integer. I've done the integer already. So you're going to use check a code that can use %s, check a code that uses %f. No, don't use this. Sorry, use this. This is what we learned today. Let's not do like a Nigerian university pattern where they will give you +1 and then they will now come and give you times 1 times 1. They will teach you 1 plus 1. They will now come and give you 1 times 1. So use this one that you've learned for today. We'll look at all these string, non, and other octa integers. We'll look at them later. So use the one that you learned today, the char, the integer, the float, and the double. Please use it. You can always come to this platform, log into this platform, and write your code. I will see it immediately. I come, like you see this person named Victor Steven, you see other people name, immediately you log into this stuff, I'm going to see your name. So you write your code. Anybody that access the platform can access the code you write, and then they can learn from it. So that's assignment number 1. Assignment, who is that? Who is that? Inbox it. Who is that? Who is that? Oh, big man. So, guys, this is the next assignment. Have you seen it? Write a program that prints your name, date of birth, and mobile number on the screen. Your result should look like this. This is the question. Then your answer should look like this. Please give me 1 minute, I'll be back. Abeg, if it you just take, abeg come use your phone. Now you complete. You know people dey wait for me. Just use your phone, type it now. You carry your phone there. Type this account. I'll do it. Yes, yes. Yeah, so sorry guys. I had somebody came to knock on. So these are the two assignments available. This one and the one I said you should use this format specifiers. So that will be all for today. If there be any question you have, you can just speak out. This is question time.
Mr. Innocent,
Yes.
thank you